In May 1998, two of the world's largest auto companies, Daimler-Benz and Chrysler, merged. Producing $150 billion in sales, commentators deemed it an example of successful globalisation. 9 years later, Chrysler was demerged and sold to a private equity firm. But employees noted that the failure of the merger had started almost immediately after it was announced. Bringing together German and American cultures was always going to be challenging. Cross-cultural diversity can deliver innovation, process improvement and growth, but only if different cultures accept each other and adapt without significant conflict or resistance. Small acts indicate cultural views and positions. When German executives visited Chrysler, they were each given a red $65,000 Viper sports car. When the reciprocal visit occurred, the Americans received a small sterling silver set of the first two cars Daimler-Benz built in 1898. As one Chrysler executive noted, "We kept being reminded that they invented the car." Different cultures have different dimensions of context, power distance, and collectivist versus individualist approaches. At Daimler-Benz, decision-making was very methodical. At Chrysler, it was more instinctive. Chrysler valued the empowerment of employees, equal rights, and a drive for creativity. Daimler-Benz's culture was based more on authority, bureaucracy, and centralisation of decisions. Explicit and deliberate communications were key to how Daimler-Benz operated. Employees were expected to put the company's goals first in all situations and to respect the hierarchical structure without challenge. When you communicated in Chrysler, you were doing so through relationships. The meaning behind words was as important as the words themselves. Employees were expected to be independent and to be able to use their judgment to drive innovation and effectiveness. Reward systems were more aggressive towards the individual. American managers received higher pay packages with generous bonuses. When American employees transferred to German offices, they won a much higher salary than their manager. They struggled to accept the German deference to authority and would openly challenge senior executives, causing friction and resistance. So what steps can be taken to try and mitigate these risks? A move towards leveraging the value of different cultures coming together. As you might have guessed, it's going to be similar to how we approach change management. In the beginning, management needs to accept a level of denial between parties, that both cultures believe that the way they do things is better. Employees will resist the differences, so management needs to guide their teams to start with acceptance of the other cultural traits and behaviours. Then people will move more readily to exploring ways to adapt by understanding there is a wider range of options available in different business situations. One approach to assisting this change management is to use 3 simple steps. Start with asking employees to describe the situation from another cultural point of view. Can Daimler-Benz employees describe why Chrysler managers come to meetings with a desire for less structure and more room for creative outcomes? Once understood, people can interpret how others might react to their communication styles and workplace behaviours. The challenging third step is to explore ways to deliver outcomes that integrate the values of both cultures. Could Chrysler managers move to accept more methodical decision-making methods? But Daimler-Benz managers embrace the ability for employees to challenge processes and provide constructive criticism. Don't get me wrong, this is not easy to do. To recap, people from culturally diverse backgrounds will encounter challenges in the workplace, from how their values and behaviours are perceived and how they perceive and work with others. If an organisation tries to drive cultural integration by forcing standardised processes or hoping that people will just figure it out, it is unlikely to succeed. To achieve cultural competence in an organisation, you need to utilise change management techniques. These start with getting people to understand other cultural approaches to work. You want employees to move to accept and adapt to other cultural viewpoints, understanding that compromise might be required, but the potential outcomes may deliver more valuable outcomes than before.